Howdy, and welcome to the Garden Nerd. Today I have an episode for you. We're going to make some zucchini bread. I will show you the recipe that I use. I'll leave it down in the description below. I do make some alterations I'll tell you as we go. So, I will show you the stuff that you got to have. Alrighty, so here is the setup of what I have. Zucchinis, obviously for zucchini bread. I have my spices over there. Some raisins, which I will use instead of the walnuts. Flour, sugar, baking soda, baking powder, oil, and the eggs. So, alright, so to get started, what you just do is cut off the ends of the zucchini. Then what I do is cut it in half because these are giant. Then generally what I do is I then split them down the middle. As you can see, there are seeds and whatnot. So we will gut these guys out and make the bread out of the actual zucchini and not all the pulp and such in the middle. You can do that, but then you have seeds in your bread, and I've done that, and it's not really all that great to have them in there. You know, you'll chew on seeds and whatnot. But to each their own. If you want to use the entirety of it, that's fine. Alright, so then quarter it. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to gut out all the seeds. This, by the way, is a good time to save any seeds if you're trying to save some seeds. So, what I just do is I take my little compost bucket, and basically what I do actually over the bucket is I just take the spoon and you just kind of push it along there, rip out the guts, and throw it into your compost bucket, or into your garbage, whatever. But I compost. So yes, just do that. Again, good time to save seeds. So yeah. Alright, I'll get to doing that, and then I'll show you the next step. Alright. Alrighty. Don't forget to actually set your oven to 325, according to the recipe. So this way it's ready to go once everything is prepped and ready to go. Alrighty. Alright, so all of the zucchinis have now been cored. This way you don't have all the seeds and yuck in there. So what you're going to do, get yourself a bowl, get yourself a grater. This is the only grater I have. I prefer just like one of the flat ones because that's a little bit easier, but you work with what you have. So what you do, you just take it and you just shred away. So this is like the most tedious part of this. I'm sure there's an easier way. I haven't really found it, but that's why I quartered them to make it a little bit easier. So you just kind of go and you just shred. About halfway there. Alright, so that is the zucchini all shredded up, all two giant zucchinis. So, that is quite a lot there. So, each recipe calls for 2 cups, of shredded zucchini. So what I just do is I take my measuring cup, shove it in there, take another bowl, and just pop it into that bowl. So this way I know how many portions that I have to do. So yeah, just do that. That's another portion. Grab another bowl. And just keep portioning it out. It doesn't have to be exact. You know, you can go a little over. That's usually what I end up having to do because I usually have more than the exact amount. In fact, I may even have more than I think I do. Alright, so just go ahead, do that. And what I have left there is probably more than the 2 cups, so then I just kind of measure it out. Oh yeah, so I have to go grab another bowl. Be right back. Alright, so, yes. Get all your cups, those shredded zucchini, sorted. Alright, so I don't have enough for another batch, so since I have 5 batches going here, what I just do, since I have about a cup and a half, I'll just kind of add bits into other of them. Not a problem, I've done that before. This way you just kind of spread the stuff out a bit more. So yeah, now I have apparently 5 batches worth of shredded zucchini to use. So, now we will move on to the actual cooking part of this, you know, mixing your dry and wet ingredients. Alright, so you want to get your pans ready. So basically I got these from the dollar store. So this way it's easy, quick. The zucchini bread generally just falls out, so what do you just do? Some cooking spray, you know, just any old cooking spray. And I just give it a quick spray. And then these are ready to go for when everything's mixed up. So, put those off to the side, grab yourself a bowl. So now we're going to be doing all the dry ingredients. So, what I like to have is 2 measuring cups, one for wet stuff, one for dry stuff. Doesn't matter which one you choose, just stay with it. Have a nice flour sifter. That is kind of not terribly important, but it makes it a lot easier to mix up all the ingredients. So, recipe calls for 3 cups of flour. I just take it, dump it in my sifter. And then just sift it. This makes the mixing part a lot easier since it's not going to be clumped up. At least that's how I find it. Alright, so there we go. Got the flour. Next, it's going to call for baking soda, 1 teaspoon. So, baking soda. Get your measuring spoons. Scoop it in. And just scoop it. There we go. Nice even amount. Pop it in there. Next is baking powder. That's another teaspoon. That goes in. Next, it's going to call for 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. That's right. Now we're going to tablespoons. Or teaspoons. My bad. So you want 3 teaspoons. Or 1 tablespoon. So, I generally do a kind of keeping amount because I like mine cinnamony. Next, we are going to deviate from the recipe with some ground nutmeg. So that I generally will use a teaspoon of. Doesn't have to be completely exact. And then deviate a little bit more from the spice, and I use ground cloves. And I just basically do about 5 dashes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not really an exact measurement. Then what I do, now these is all the dried ingredients. Alright, so the one thing I did forget to actually do for a couple of those loaves is a teaspoon of salt. I will taste test those and let you know how it is without the teaspoon of salt. No big deal, I don't think. You know, the salt will add, you know, good flavor to it, but I did forget on 2 of those batches for those loaves. So, don't forget the salt. So now I just take a whisk and I just mix them all together with the flour, as I find that When you do it like this, everything's mixed a little bit easier. Alright, so put that off to the side. Grab yourself your wet bowl. And in here, we are going to add all the wet ingredients plus the sugar. Alright, so this recipe calls for 3 eggs. So you take your egg, crack it open, drop it in there, try not to get the shells everywhere. Again, bada boom. Bada bang. Alright, so you got the 3 eggs in there. Now we're going to move on to a cup of oil. So, 1 cup. Again, that's why I like to keep 1 cup for like the wet, 1 cup for the dry. So 1 full cup of oil. That goes straight in there. Next, we're going to do the vanilla extract. Voila. And that is a tablespoon of vanilla extract, or 3 teaspoons. Dump that into there. Alright, now lastly, you take your sugar, which is 2 1/4 cups. Dump it into the liquid. And then I just kind of guesstimate roughly how much is about 1/4 of a cup. It doesn't have to be exact. Next, we're going to take this and mix it together. Alright, I also do suggest you actually use an electric mixer. It makes it like a lot easier than trying to do it all by hand. So, you just take it and you cream the things together. Alright, so the mixture should look just about like that. Now you're going to start slowly sifting in the dry ingredients. So basically what I do is I sift in a bit, then I turn on the mixer, mix it in, and then I just keep doing this until the mixture's in there. About halfway through, when I add the mixture in, it's going to get a bit dry, so that's when I will add in the zucchini. Now you can see there it's starting to get a bit thicker, so you take your zucchini and just dump it in. Dump in the rest, and let's get mixing. Alright, so now, if you want, you can add walnuts. In this case, I'm actually going to be adding a cup of raisins. Alright, 1 cup of raisins. Pop it in there. Mix it up some more. Alright, so now the mixture is nice and mixed. Put your mixer off to the side. And that is the batter. So, what you're going to do, just take the batter, put it in your prepared pans, and then set it in the oven for, I believe, about an hour. Alright, so I just take the batter, dump it in, half in each pan. Make sure with the raisins and stuff, they like to sink a little bit to the bottom to kind of split them a little bit for each pan, so this way you don't get one that's super raisin-y and one that isn't. Just kind of scraped around. Alright, so now they are mostly full like that, which should be fine. Now they go into the oven, which you should have already warmed up. Alright, so I just put it into the back. As far as it will. And then I just close up the oven. And I just double check the recipe. It is 40 to 60 minutes in the oven. Alright, time to check and see if a couple of these loaves are done. Stabby stabby. Came out clean, so that one's good. That one's good. That one is almost good. And so is that one. So, got 4 coming out. I will throw them on the cooling racks. Alrighty, so 4 of them are ready. So basically what I just do is I have some cooling racks, stick them on here. Once they are cool enough to handle, I will pop them out of their tins, and then I will kind of wrap them up in cellophane if I'm going to freeze them up, or if I'm just going to store them for a bit longer. Also, you could just use like gallon-size Ziploc baggies, that works too. But basically what I end up doing is, since I usually make a huge batch like this, is I will freeze probably about half of them, and all I do with that is just let them cool, and then I take a big roll of cellophane, and I wrap it up, and then I just stick them in the freezer, and they freeze and thaw just fine. Howdy, howdy. So, we have all the zucchinis are now done. I have a couple cooling without their tins. Some of them I just got out of the oven, so they have to stay in their tins. So, we got 8 here, and then we have 2 on the stove. Ran out of the cheapo tins, so I have them in regular bread tins. So yeah, 10 zucchini breads done out of 2 humongous zucchinis. So, you know, you can make it stretch quite a bit. So yeah, I'm going to show you how to pack up the zucchinis. Alright, so basically what we got here, a loaf of zucchini, pop it out of its tin, and like plop it down. Then you take saran wrap. Obviously you don't need something this big, but got this at like one of those big box stores, kind of like Sam's Club, I think. So then you just take the cellophane. If you can actually get it, that's always a trick. So get the cellophane. I like to roll out quite a lot, probably like about an arm's length or so. You can use scissors, I just use a knife. Cut the cellophane, slide that off to the side, and basically you just gotta get it off itself. So then what I just do is I flatten it out, take the loaf, pop it on there, fold it over, then you flip, make sure that the cellophane is not crinkling too much on itself. You just keep rolling it over. I usually have enough cellophane to wrap it like at least 2 times or so. So there you go, you wrap it up. So now it's kind of like this. So what I generally do is I just kind of fold it up, fold it underneath, and voila, now it is sealed. Make sure these are cool, you don't want them too warm, because when you store them like that, you don't want it, you know, condensation and whatnot. So, I already have a frozen one here. That's a nice frozen one that I got out of the freezer. What I generally do is, like, when I cook like a big batch like this, I generally will go through and like keep about half of them out, because I usually do about 10 or so. Yeah, so yeah, basically take them, freeze them. All you have to do is just stick them on the freezer, and well, not on the freezer, in the freezer, and then yeah, you got it. You just take it out when you kind of run out of fresh ones, leave it on the counter overnight, and then yeah, you'll have zucchini bread for the morning. Alrighty, so yeah, just stick them in the freezer. Try to keep the airflow going so they can freeze, and then yeah, you got zucchini bread for like pretty much the rest of the year. Alrighty. This is the Garden Nerd signing off from the Garden Nerd Kitchen. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. Tell me how you prepare your zucchini. Do zucchini bread, any recipes that you do. I also do zucchini brownies. I'll try to put a link down below to the recipe for that. Thanks for watching. Bye.